We're here
to celebrate
Time with Love.
Hi,
Well,
hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again.
Someday we'll get that timing right on the Time with Love.
It's always time for love, right?
I hope so. We should all make time for love.
Absolutely.
And that, folks, is the point of this show.
Yes.
So welcome, everybody. And Hadley, would you like to welcome our special guest?
Absolutely. This is our special guest, author C.A. Miconi. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Okay. Author of Is It Priceless in Pelican Point?
Yes.
And you're going to be speaking with us a little bit about that. And thank you for joining us this month, August, for Time with Love.
Great to be here.
That's just the latest Pelican Point book.
So I'll be telling everyone a little about that. It's Pelican Point is a fictional small town in Florida, and we created that small town and then decided to make it a multi-author series. So there will be many, many books to come in the Pelican Point world.
That's cool.
Very cool.
And can you let everyone know where they can keep up with you on socials, or where are you located?
I live in Florida, and the Pelican Point world was actually created by myself and 3 other Florida small town steamy authors. So we decided to set that world in Florida as well.
Awesome.
I have a link to it I can put up with all my socials as well as my website.
Awesome.
Cool. Great. So efficient. much more efficient than I am. So what are we doing here?
Right now, I'll put it in comments. How about that?
That's good.
That works.
What is Time with Love, Tonya?
What is it? Time with Love is a year-long adventure that the 3 of us are doing, Hadley, Rick, and I. We each have calendar projects, and so we decided, let's team up for a celebration of love once a month for an entire year, and we are on month 8.
Yay. I'm sad because we're 2/3 of the way through.
No, it's coming.
It's coming. I mean, it's not quite coming to an end, but you feel like we're over the halfway point,
right? It went quick too, because it seems like we were just planning for this, and all of a sudden now we're in August. I'm looking at my book for this month. I'm like, oh my God, it's already August.
I'm already receiving books from some of the authors that have joined us. Like, here's my book to go to the end of year prize. Like, oh, we need to start preparing for the end of year prize already.
And Tonya will tell you a little bit more about the end of year prize later.
Yes,
so hang on.
So is there a different theme every month within the time?
Kind of go with whatever the holidays are in that month. We go with that. So each month there are different holidays, and some of them are official holidays and some of them are just fun holidays. And we pick and choose which ones we want to discuss and share them with the audience.
Awesome.
And there are themes with the questions. I mean, Hadley comes up with great questions that all have themes.
And we'll be jumping into some of those questions for you and your book here, and when we get to your segment. But yeah, we do have some traditional, like Tonya said, holidays, and some that are unconventional, which I'll be talking about today as well. I didn't even realize it was this month, the national. We'll talk about it.
My holiday is probably not well known to non-Indigenous people, but you'll soon learn more than you want to know about the Corn Festival.
Well, that seems like a wonderful segue into your presentation today.
Oh, thank you. So, we each read from our work, a few minutes from our work, so you won't fall asleep. This is a 45-minute to an hour show, folks. And I'm going to be reading from my latest book. I write story collections. So my latest one is called Gay All Year. And guess what? There are 12 stories. And each story is about, everything I write is about how men meet other men and hopefully begin a relationship. So in my latest book, each story is keyed to an event or holiday that month. So for August, I chose rodeos. So rodeos is the event, and the August story is Kachina Dancer, and it's about an encounter between a kind of down on his luck, or not very good, really, rodeo cowboy, and the Navajo Hopi antelope god who brings the rain. So I'll read a few minutes from this story. And I realized I don't write erotica anymore. I used to write erotica, but I stopped because people don't know the difference between erotica and pornography. So I didn't want to be thought of as writing pornography. But this story is pretty sexy. But I'm not going to read that part. Here we go. The Kachina dancers were alongside us now, and Antelope Man was on our side of the street. He danced towards us, sidestepping, step-stepping and bending over with those poles, making me hornier than I already was. I still couldn't see the human eyes inside the mask, just those big black holes, but it was like Chop was looking right at me. I looked away, but Alvarez nudged me. He likes you, Davy. I looked back at the street. Antelope Man had stopped in front of me. He was bent over with his poles, and he pushed his antlers at me. When he stood up again, I could finally see his eyes. They were the darkest brown I had ever seen, darker even than Joao's, and just staring. I stared back. Then, I don't know what came over me, probably the beer. Anyway, Chop started dancing again, still right in front of me, and I did too, imitating his steps. I could hear the rodeo rats laughing at me. I knew I was making a fool of myself, but I couldn't stop. It was like the damn Kachina's eyes were hypnotizing me. I was close enough I could hear his raspy breathing. He shook his shoulders at me and thrust his groin, grinding it as he danced. I felt like I would do something crazy if Chop asked me to. Anything. And then the music stopped and Chop and I stopped dancing. He took one of the pole things he was carrying and poked my chest with it, easing it inside my shirt and holding it against my skin like it was a branding iron. He said something I didn't understand, and then when the music started again, danced away down the street, real slowly. I stared after him. He turned around once and gave me that look again. A couple hours later, drunk and alone, I staggered down empty streets back towards the motel. I could hear drums and singing coming from the pueblo. I thought about joining them. Maybe the guy playing Chop would be there. But I had to get up early again and try to make some rodeo money, so I kept walking. The motel wasn't far when I heard a flute behind me. I tried to ignore it, even though it seemed closer than the drums. I thought I heard footsteps, too, like deer hooves on hard stone. When I whirled around, there weren't any deer, of course, nor a man neither. "Oh, shit, Davy," I said out loud. "You're drunk." I started walking again, but kept listening just in case. A drunk cowboy on a lonesome street is an easy target. Not that they'd get much off of me. Then, sure as hell, I heard the little clickety footsteps behind me again, and the flute. The hair rose on my neck and arms. I hated to look back, but I did, really slowly. The antelope Kachina was behind me, all right, maybe 20 feet, dancing in slow steps like before, pointing one of the poles at me. I tried to run, but my boots had melted into the pavement. It was Chop's eyes, the black holes. I couldn't get away from them. I wanted to yell, but I couldn't do that either. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, almost couldn't blink. All I could do was wait for Chop and watch while he caught up with me, taking his time like he knew I wouldn't run. When he was within reach, he poked me with one of the poles, tapping my shoulder, nudging me around, and then poked my backside to get me moving like a damn sow in the show ring. He kept tapping me right and left, hurting me forward, until we were past the motel, past all the houses, out in the desert, surrounded by dark shapes I hoped were rocks. Finally, I was able to say something, stupid as it was. "What do you want?" I asked him over my shoulder, my voice cracking. He poked my ass with one of the poles and said something at Zuni or whatever. "No way," I yelled, and finally found legs to run. No way, and sure as hell no way if the dude was wearing an antelope suit. I ran farther into the desert since Chop was between me and town. my legs pumping as hard as my high school 440 experience could make them. Running was about the only thing I did right in school. I didn't hear Chop following me or the flute, so I stopped to catch my breath and figure out where I was and how to get back to town and into my motel room. But when I looked back to see how far away I was, there was Antelope Man dancing toward me, step by step, like he still heard the music. And then, so did I. Thank you. And a lot happens before that and after that. And I forgot how X-rated it was, but somehow I got past my publisher. So as we mentioned, we talk about holidays this month, and my August holiday is the Green Corn Festival. And that's a harvest festival celebrated by Choctaws, my people, and other Southeast Native peoples. I'm Choctaw through my great-grandmother, and I'm actually on the list. You have to be enrolled, you have to be on something called the Dawes list. When they sent the Southeast people to Oklahoma from their homes in Mississippi or wherever, there was a guy named Dawes, and his people took the names of all the people who wound up in Oklahoma. And my great-grandmother is on that list, so I know I'm Choctaw. So the Green Corn Festival, and I'm wearing yellow and I'm wearing corn socks, but I'll spare you the socks. The key elements are purification, Thanksgiving, reconciliation, and then party. So purification is through fasting and purging the body of impurities, and it symbolizes spiritual cleansing. Thanksgiving is expressing gratitude for the harvest. Reconciliation, they're all good, but this is really good. It's an opportunity for people to forgive and forget and seek forgiveness. And then the party is traditional corn festival dances and lots of food. So it's a great time. It's a great time, but it's also a very spiritual time. So I'm in charge of telling you how you can win something today. We always have a contest. If you've been here before, you know that, and maybe you've won something. So our contest today is in chat. Give us 2 or 3 lines about the most romantic vacation you ever took. So you don't write an essay, there's not room, but give us 2 or 3 lines. And then at the end, the 4 of us will each pick a winner and give you the prize they're awarding. And the prize that I'm awarding today is, look at that guy. That's Chop. That's the Navajo Hopi Antelope Man that was in my story. And you'll get, I think he's about 12 or 13 inches tall. And I will mail that to you. Thank you very much. And now I will toss it to Tonya.
Meow, thank you for that. I really, really enjoyed that story. I think that's the most suspenseful story that you've told so far.
Yeah,
I was really into it.
There's no humor in this story.
I mean, there was a little.
Oh, okay.
It was unintentional, but it's kind of funny that boots melting into the pavement, like.
Yeah, I saw you laugh at that, and I thought, But folks,
it's a great line.
When you read the story, you never know what the laugh line is going to be.
Yeah, well, I like scary stories, so it's the fun of, you thought you were going to run away, didn't you? Ha ha ha.
Thank you.
So forgive my wicked humor. So my calendar project is a nonfiction book. It's not stories. It is love lessons for an entire year. So I give 1 love lesson per week for an entire year of love. And today's love lesson is about touring your town. And so I will read this segment of 52 Love with you. This happens to be week 32. When we hear people say staycation, they often envision in-house entertainment. Let's expand that concept beyond the borders of your home. I'm part of an organization that hosts an annual writers' conference. A few years back, after a fun but exhausting day of learning, a writer friend offered the faculty a personal tour of downtown Las Vegas, It was an absolute blast. I saw the city in new neon lights and learned parts of my town's history I never would have known. That experience inspired this week's 52 Love Tip. Take your partner sightseeing in your own city. Among the many benefits of playing tourist for a day, local sightseeing is a way to spend rich time together without spending all of your silver. Instead of paying for travel and housing, you can invest in fun. Tickets to that old haunted mansion, most of us have one, or burlesque museum fees, or perhaps indulge in edible souvenirs, or cut all costs, pack a cooler, and cruise the local arts district. You and your partner not sure where to go? Ask out-of-town family where they'd visit if they were offered a free weekend. Perhaps you have a well-informed local friend who can show you around as if you were new. Check websites that offer recommendations about what makes your town special. View your city with fresh eyes and an open mind. It's easy to take a familiar setting for granted, but try digging into its history. Who is responsible for its origin and current state? What are the stories that bind it? Rather than travel in the way you're accustomed, change your usual transportation. Walk a path you typically drive, register for a tour bus, take a flight in a helicopter tour. By changing your method of moving through familiar surroundings, you and your partner might absorb the ambience with an enhanced sense of setting and a new dimension of appreciation for your home base. When you tour your own town, old knowledge feels new again. Long forgotten details resurface. Many annals update with the times. Embrace the chance to connect those historical lessons with the city you both know and renew your relationship along the way. Take photos to preserve the fresh memories from your new experiences with old places. Renew your love with the city and with it, your love of each other. And now I am going to talk about my special holidays for today. I have two. My first one is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Yay.
It is my own chocolate chip cookies are my favorite, but that's because, I've taken the steps to custom make them for the way that I like them, extra salt, extra vanilla, that kind of thing. But August 4th happens to be National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. I have a friend whose birthday is that day, and it is also his favorite cookie. So, what better way to celebrate him than by making his favorite cookie on Chocolate Chip Cookie Day? But it does have an actual history. It's to honor not just the cookie itself, but the joy and tradition it brings to countless homes and gatherings across the country. Whether you're a child delighting in its gooey goodness or an adult savoring a nostalgic bite, there's something universally comforting about this classic cookie paired with a cold glass of milk. So grab your mixing bowls and preheat the oven, because National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day is a day for all to celebrate. And then the other holiday that I'm celebrating is International Cat Day, because meow, how could I not? International Cat Day is August 8th. It's a global celebration that raises awareness about the needs and well-being of domestic and stray cats. The day promotes responsible pet ownership, encourages the protection and adoption of stray and shelter cats, raises awareness about feline health and behavior, and celebrates the special bond between humans and our beloved felines. Kiss your kitty. If you don't have a cat, consider volunteering at or donating to a local national shelter or animal shelter. And then, side note, August 17th, today happens to be National Black Cat Appreciation Day. And then, there are so many holidays in August that aren't big ones that we think about. Like, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that August 9th is National Book Lovers Day. And, we're kind of celebrating that today, too. August 26th is Women's Equality Day in the United States. And it's a day to commemorate the 19th Amendment of the Constitution, which gave women the right to vote. And because I like to tie my prizes in with the holidays or themes that we're celebrating during the month, my prize for today, I can't give away a cat. Hadley's already given away but I'm giving away chocolate chip cookies. And if the winner happens to be local, I will bake them myself.
Are we eligible for entering the contest? No. But I want those cookies.
Me too.
But I like cookies too.
Chocolate chip is my favorite as well.
I really like the idea about touring your own town and all those specific tips like walking's away you usually drive, and asking people what would you look at when you came here. Like when I lived in New York, I never went to the Statue of Liberty, and I only went to the Empire State Building because somebody came from out of town and they wanted to go there. I just never thought about going to these places.
Right, we don't tour our own places, and then we miss out on what's right there because we take it for granted that it'll always be there for us to see.
Right.
But if you make it an experience, then it's another way to grow closer with your partner, but then you kind of fall in love with your city again too, because you see all the amazing things that it offers that maybe you don't think about all the time. And then you will have a place to meet people when they come.
I mean, you and Hadley live in big cities. I live in a kind of a big town, but there's still an amazing number of things to see and do here.
I just visited Medford, Oregon, which is not a huge place, but I was given tours of all of these amazing secrets there, like, beautiful hiking, little creeks and rivers, and maybe, small swimming ponds, that kind of thing. There's beauty everywhere, and touring your own city is a way to find that beauty and then share it with your partner.
I think sometimes extending that invitation to people and asking them that, they get excited about it and thinking, oh yeah, where would, so for example, I have a couple of groups that I'm in, and I think that's where I met our guest today in one of those groups. And so I posted a question, I posed it out there of, if I were coming to your city, where would you take me?
Oh.
And so many people responded to that. And it was like people were bragging about their city. So any opportunity for people to be able to talk about themselves, people are going to take that. So when you're in a relationship of, getting to know somebody, that's always a good icebreaker question of, if I were come and visit you in a long distance relationship, where would you take me when I got to your city? And I hear all kinds of stuff like, oh, there's a couple cities I would love to go visit right now because of that question.
Or even if you live in the same town and the person is new to you, I like the idea of saying, what's your favorite place in our town?
Right, because sometimes you don't know about all those things. Yeah, absolutely. And I like the fact that you talked about cats, that it's National Cat Day or month or whatever. And then you said black cat. My daughter's in the next room. She was just talking to me. I'm like, I'm on a live, but she has a black cat. And I was like, oh, did you hear that? Like, you should be celebrating Roman this month. Oh, man. And to tie into my book, Mr. August, he's actually a vet. So our swoon-worthy bachelor is a veterinarian. So it does tie right into that. So all good things in my romance series of the Bachelor series. And Mr. August is no different. It is a swoony, steamy, full of feels love. Mr. August. We meet him and Leah Silva. She is a bold Brazilian dog mom with a wild heart and even wilder curls. She struts into a vet's office just trying to get her Labrador Benji checked out. And instead she walks out shook. Why? Because of Dr. Ashton Rushmore. He is a man. He is hot, single, newly crowned Bachelor of the Month by Forrester Media. And we, of course, will have Genesis, who gave our questions this week for our guest. She is our journalist, so she is following Dr. Rushmore around and following his journey with love. So I'm going to give you a little taste of the book. This scene brings the heat, the intimacy, and a little foreshadowing, because with romance, there's always more than meets the eye. So here's a little excerpt from Mr. August. The scent of Mediterranean food fills the air as we both serve ourselves from the spread laid out on the kitchen island. The kitchen itself is warm and inviting, a blend of modern sleekness with rustic touches, dark wood cabinets, stainless steel appliances, and a large island that doubles as a gathering spot. I've always liked how the place turned out. It's homey without feeling cluttered, and it's always ready for company, even if I don't have much of that. I hand Leah a plate, our fingers brushing briefly, sending a spark through me. She smiles up at me, her eyes warm and inviting. Thank you, she says, taking the plate and adding a bit of everything, roasted lamb, grilled vegetables, and a variety of dips and spreads. I follow her lead, piling my plate high before leading her into the dining room. The table is set for two, a simple yet elegant arrangement. The dark wood of the table contrasts with the light linen placements, and the soft glow of the candles adds a touch of intimacy to the evening. I've even opened a bottle of wine, a good vintage I've been saving for a special occasion, and this feels like that one. We sit across from each other, the table wide enough to give us space, but not so large that it feels impersonal. The candlelight flickers, casting soft shadows across the room, creating a warm, inviting atmosphere. And as we start eating, the conversation is light, focusing on Bolton Blaze and the day at the clinic. Leah laughs as she recounts how the Westies bounded around the dog yard, wearing themselves out completely. They had so much fun today. I'm pretty sure they're going to sleep throughout the night. I smile, taking a sip of my wine. They're good pups. You've done a great job with them. They're always so well behaved, even when they're full of energy. Leah's eyes light up at the compliment, and I can't help but admire how beautiful she looks tonight. Her outfit, vibrant and perfectly suited for her, reflects her Brazilian heritage. The colors pop against her warm skin, making her look like she belongs somewhere tropical and not the middle of Manhattan. The thought makes me chuckle inwardly. She's brought a bit of the tropics to my life, and I can't say that I mind it. So, I begin, my tone light. There's an underlying seriousness. What do you think about the benefit the Foresters are throwing this weekend? It's kind of last minute, don't you think? Leah hesitates for a moment, her fork pausing midway to her mouth. Actually, it's not last minute, Ashton. They've been planning this for weeks. I stop, fork in hand, and I stare at her. What do you mean? I just got the invitation today. She sets her fork down, her expression turning a bit more serious. I think I might be the reason why they picked you for the Bachelor of the Month. The room seems to close in on me as her words sink in. Wait, what? I ask. And that's it.
Oh.
Like that, a cozy dinner takes a sharp left turn. And that, my friends, is how you keep the romance novel interesting.
Yay.
Oh yeah, and I like in that little snippet I talk about Bolton Blaze, and that's actually my dogs, Bolton Blaze Westies. So I wrote my dogs into the story, and I was just telling my cohorts here that my dog got free and started running around my house right before we jumped on live. I'm like, no, you're actually doing what I said you did in the book. So yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my holiday for this month. Whether you're single or thriving or sipping wine with your forever love, this month in this story reminds you that romance is alive, it's messy, it's hot, it's hopeful, and it's worth it. So I'm excited to spread a little love with y'all for this August celebration on two things I'm very passionate about. This month is Romance Awareness Month and National Couples Day. Now, first of all, yes, Romance Awareness Month is real. I didn't make it up just to promote my book. Shout out to my book. Although, honestly, I don't blame you if you would think that, but intentionality is going to be important here. So whether you're single in a situationship or boot up, romance doesn't just fall from the sky. You have to cultivate it. That means the sweet texts, the check-ins, that I was just thinking about you, call, yes, even that late night DoorDash order for two, keep romance alive. But here's the twist, romance isn't just for couples, it's also about learning how to love yourself. And that is falling back in love with your own life, treating yourself with tenderness and knowing your worth. So because the most powerful love stories, they all start with you. So romance yourself, people. I know there's this episode of, there's Parks and Recreations, I think, and that lady on there is always saying, treat yourself. So yes, do that. Romance yourself. And then also celebrating is National Couples Day. That's also coming up tomorrow. August 18th. And unlike Valentine's Day, which can be a little extra stressful, Couples Day is vibe-based. It's chill. It's about looking across the dinner table like my characters did, or on the couch cushions, crumbs between you, whatever, and saying, hey, I still choose you. I still want this. It's the inside jokes. It's the shared playlist. It's the you finished my sentence and my fries kind of love. So that's that. Those are my two holidays.
I love that. You finished my sentence and my fries.
That's great. I'm going to steal that line.
Romance alive. So that's that. And for the winner of the contest today, I will be giving away a copy of Mr. August for you to enjoy our hot, steamy vet to hear more about the doggos and how they get rambunctious in the romance as well. So that's that. So with that all being said, I'm passing this over to our guest, C.A. Miconi. She's going to talk to us a little bit about her book, Priceless in Pelican Point. So if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and then have at it.
Great. Thanks so much. You guys can call me Connie. That my initials and my last name are real, and my name is Connie, so feel free to call me that. I am going to talk to you about Priceless in Pelican Point, but first I'll tell you a little bit about what started the Pelican Point world. As I mentioned, this big baby here was born out of a partnership, a strategic partnership that I started with 3 other small town steamy authors who all currently live in Florida. So it's easy for us to get together, physically as well as virtually. And we started, talking about craft and saying, hey, let's market together. We all write similar things. And at some point we decided to put this anthology together. So we created this fictional small town. It's on the Atlantic coast of Florida, somewhere between Palm Beach and Daytona Beach, I would say, if you're familiar with the coast of Florida. And we didn't want to just write like 4 random stories and put them in a book together. We actually created a world where we created a Florida family winery. The family has Irish roots, and it's a big fixture in the town. The town of Pelican Point in its heyday was a very much a tourist attraction. It kind of had fallen by the wayside in recent years, and was an interest in restoring the winery as well as sort of restoring the attractions to the town. And so we wrote 4 integrated stories that you read one after the other. They follow each other. 3 of the stories center around the 3 siblings, the children of the winery, and their loves and couples. And then the only one that's not about one of the siblings is centers around an employee that comes to the winery to be their new winemaker. And so they're all very integrated. It's best to read them in order. And so you really get a feel for the winery, the family, the town. There are a lot of broken relationships in this family and with all of the characters. So it was quite the undertaking to really integrate it all and make them sort of match, and 4 different writers with very different writing styles. And we were thrilled when people would say, well, we really weren't sure which story was which writer or whatever, if we didn't know that they did sort of flow and were integrated very seamlessly. So then we decided, hey, let's keep it going. So once we did all the work of creating the world, why stop it there? So we decided that we would each write individual books periodically in Pelican Point. And I think we've so the anthology came out in March of this past March. Irish family, St. Patrick's Day. We figured that was a good time. St. Patrick's Day is my favorite holiday for a variety of reasons. And then every month thereafter, we have issued, one of us has issued a book. We are about to open it up to other authors so that we can really expand the world and keep the world going. So we're really excited about that. So my first individual story was Priceless in Pelican Point. And this released in June. And I chose June because June is a big wedding month, and my characters are a wedding dress designer and a billionaire. And the reason I picked these characters is because they matched some of my favorite things to write about. So, for example, they are an interracial couple. She is a Black woman. He is a white a white man. I write a lot of interracial romance. I also enjoy writing later in life. So these characters are of a certain maturity. Stone, our billionaire, is about 40, and Desiree is in her late 30s. And that's actually on the younger end of what I like to write. I really like writing 40s and 50s couples because I enjoy reading those. And I found that a lot of people do as well. So that's another one of my niches. So if you want to have a little summary of what Priceless is about, Desiree Russell has built a sanctuary in Pelican Point. Her bridal boutique, called Coastal Couture, is where every bride, no matter her size or shape, feels radiant. When billionaire developer Stone Anginelli targets her historic building for demolition, Desiree is ready to fight tooth and nail to protect what she's poured her heart into. But Stone didn't expect the woman behind the boutique to be so fierce or so captivating. Desiree's passion, curves, and conviction shake the foundations of everything he thought he valued. As sparks fly and boundaries blur, Desiree wonders if she's falling for a man who sees her shop and perhaps her as just another acquisition. And Stone must decide, is his legacy worth more than the one woman who's taught him what real value looks like?
That is enticing.
Yes, it's quickly became one of my favorite stories that I've written. I really like writing about family dynamics, and a little bit of that comes into play. And also, people that, we all have imperfections and different, definitions of what's attractive and what's desirable. Desiree is a very curvy girl who
Voluptuous.
has sort of lived with some hang-ups about that all of her life. And I think in one of the questions, I'm going to get into that a little more. So I'll save that for one of the questions you've given me. And Stone is, very successful in business, not so successful in his personal life. And he didn't grow up with a lot. He had he and his single mom struggled. And at some point, he became very successful in business and maybe forgot about some of those things. So there's a lot of emotion in that for both of them.
Connie, I really like it that you focus your stories on older people, because it really irritates me in gay romance. It's all about teenagers.
Yes, the
And
20-somethings, and they could almost be my grandchildren. So I really don't want to read about those relationships.
It could be my grandchildren. I don't want to read about my grandchildren having sex. So.
Exactly. Now, my daughter waited a little bit, so mine are still quite small. But if you go by the math, I could have a much older one.
So thank you for sharing that with us. And we're going to get into some questions just to hear some more about your story, as you alluded to. So my question for you is based around emotional stakes and what love is worth. So your character Desiree fights hard to protect her boutique, and Stone has to figure out if she's just another acquisition or something more. So why was it important to show a heroine who refuses to be devalued, both emotionally and professionally?
Well, in looking back at my first series, I found myself writing very strong women, and I really enjoyed that. So it's important to me that every female character that I write about is portrayed as strong and independent, and she doesn't need the man to make her complete or help her along. But with Desiree, at the same time that she's very strong, independent, successful, she has some vulnerabilities. And, I wanted to show that side as well as how you can overcome things and really, stand on your own. She had a broken engagement that really messed with her, and I think a lot of us have been through those sort of relationships that really weren't the right person for you or meant to be, and her ex had devalued her very much. And so she kind of reverted to those childhood insecurities about being a little overweight as a child, not, embracing her curves. So it was kind of like on the business side, she's very successful. And then internally, she's got these vulnerabilities. And she really worked hard to overcome all of that. And she's really in a good place. And then she meets this guy who's threatening. She sees him as a threat to her business and to her livelihood and to her mission, because her mission is to make every bride feel beautiful. She specializes in, larger size dresses, curvy girl dresses. She believes that every bride has the right to be beautiful on their wedding day, and that's what she does for people. So there's a whole lot behind this developer coming in and possibly tearing down her building. So I really find myself with every story, yes, it's a romance, but I really want to focus on making the women as strong as they can be. And, with that, like I said, they overcome a lot of things.
I love that inclusivity of different body types. That's wonderful. And I skipped over this. I forgot. And Rick is going to get into this in just a bit. We didn't talk about what your contest, what you're giving away for the contest.
Yes. I'm going to give someone the paperback of Love Lies and Celtic Knots, the anthology. We actually have 2 covers. So
nice.
The winner can tell me if they prefer this discreet version, which I just showed, or the hot man version.
Hot man.
Similar to the priceless cover.
I want to win the hot man cover and the chocolate chip cookies.
Right. But it's very much like the priceless cover.
So since we're talking about the contest, we have people entering. It's pretty good so far, but you still have a chance to enter, and you could win. So in chat, write 2 or 3 lines about what your most romantic vacation was, and please keep it PG. So thank you. And now
PG-13. PG-13 is fine.
And now I'd like to ask Connie a question. Mine is about transformation, the romance of transformation. And transformation is something very important to queer people because we all go through it. I mean, everybody does, but queer people really have to change in order to live their authentic lives. So your character Stone's entire perspective shifts the more he gets to know Desiree. What did you enjoy most about writing a character whose version of love deepens as his priorities change?
So first, let me say that phrase, romance of transformation, I love that. It hit me hard and, got me to thinking about, how to answer that question. So kudos for that.
Kudos to Genesis, right?
Thank you, Genesis.
Definitely. I would say his priorities don't just change. They really cause him to remember where he came from and sort of return to his roots and why he got in the business that he got in. So as he meets Desiree, it all, it starts hitting him of, I'm affecting somebody in the small town. One of his missions in getting into being a developer was to help families that grew up like he did, provide secure housing and, small businesses thriving, sort of restoring the the financial viability of small towns and so on. And they all harken back to his childhood. And when Desiree meets him, she really starts challenging him and reminding him of what he could possibly be impacting by bulldozing this building and coming into this charming, historic, coastal tourist town and, putting up some modern cold structure that, isn't going to be anybody's idea of, an idyllic seaside town, right? So she really starts challenging him. And at the same time, his mother is challenging him, and sort of behind the scenes, I don't want to give that all away, but she really wants to be a matchmaker. So she's very subtle about it. But she also reminds him, remember where we came from. And I can't believe that you're about to do this project. How could you do that? And she happens to now be living in the small town that he's thinking about doing this project in. And she's like, these are my neighbors and my friends. And, you're going to come in and wreck it. So he's got Desiree and his mom kind of really get him to thinking, like, how did I get here? Where, I'm all about the dollar now, when my mission was always to help people. And he gets a chance to help people again with Desiree. And so that really brings them together. I think the other thing for both of them, so their previous partners were, I guess, everybody's expectation of who they should be with, right? They are so different in every way. And so you wouldn't necessarily put them together. But, hi there, this is Mia.
Meow, baby.
You wouldn't necessarily look at them and say that's a couple, right? They're just so opposite in every way. And, there's very much an enemies to lovers vibe, because, they
love that.
She goes and confronts him and basically calls him every nasty word you can think of. And he is in shock because he's like, what the hell just walked in and, hit me. At the same time, he's very intrigued. And he makes no secret of his interest in her. But of course, she's suspicious, right? Because she's been burned before. She doesn't trust men. She's done a lot of self-work, but she's basically like, I'm not going there again, with a guy, and just, losing myself over a guy. So she's, constantly fighting it too. His first wife was the supermodel wannabe socialite that, you expect a billionaire to be with, and that didn't last. And, she had a real, asshole who, basically built himself up at, her expense. I'm the brains and the business and the good looks and everything in this relationship. You're lucky to have me kind of guy. So, she definitely doesn't want to go there again. So it's very interesting that it's, very much an enemies to lovers and an opposites attract, and they end up being perfect for each other.
So,
yeah,
Tonya,
that's my trope. That's my trope. Enemies to lovers. I love it. I do. I have my own question, but I also have a Genesis question. So I'll start with my own question because I just want to know, and it kind of like leads into Genesis's question. Have you heard of a show called Survival of the Thickest?
No, I haven't.
This book sounds like it would be amazing for viewers who like that. So I recommend you look into it because you might be able to find a new audience for your book.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you about your third question. I'm really excited about that one because I want to tell you about my inspiration for Desiree.
Yeah. Let me get into it. So this one has to do with body confidence and unapologetic femininity. And Desiree is described as curvy, confident, and fiercely herself. How did you approach writing a heroine who fully owns her own space and beauty in a genre that has not always embraced that?
Yeah, so I happen to have a very good friend and a business partner who is also an author. And she has two pen names, but the spicier of the pen names is very much a messenger for body positivity and sex positivity. And she's just an inspiration to me. She's a larger woman, but that has never stopped her from doing anything. In the book, I have a scene where Desiree is a swimmer, and that's how she gets her exercise. And my friend is a swimmer. She swims up to, she's almost 50, and she can still do like well over a mile a day swimming laps in a swimming pool. She was a swimmer, you know, as a kid as well, but she was always big. And so when you look at her, you don't expect to see a competitive swimmer. And so she sort of just breaks all these stereotypes that you think of when you look at a curvy or a larger person. And it even extends to where she'll go to the doctor and the doctor will tell her to lose weight. Despite the fact that her heart is very sound, her blood pressure is great, she can hike several miles, you know, in a hike. She swims every day. So in reality, there's no health reason that she should lose weight. And the danger in that is, you know, when she was younger, you know, the pressure was on and, you know, for her to be bulimic. And that's about as unhealthy as you can get. So she's a great inspiration to me. And she actually has written a book that sells very well on Amazon. And I mention it in my story that is that's Desiree's Bible. And that's how she returned herself to loving herself and being body positive and embracing everything about her instead of being, you know, all, you know, negatively hung up on it as she, you know, was as a child. The book is called The Fat Girl's Guide to Loving Your Body. And there are all kinds of subjects talked about in there, from, you know, personal health to sexual relationships. And it's all about, you know, helping yourself to feel beautiful and embracing yourself and staying healthy, you know, in that body. And one of the things in there that also Desiree does a lot is affirmations. So she'll read an affirmation a day. When she's feeling kind of down about something, she will repeat to herself some of those affirmations. So when she's battling it out with Stone and she's, you know, feeling some kind of way, sometimes, you know, she'll go back to that. There's also a scene in my book where her very toxic ex comes back to her and tries to convince her to, you know, to come back to him. Like, you know, I'm doing you a favor. You can, you know, I'll take you back kind of thing. Right. And she really stands her ground with him and tells him off because she's in such a better place. So.
Well, thank you, Connie. I think now we need to move to the contest winners.
Yes.
So the four of us are going to, Joe Compton, our moderator, is going to show us the entries. And then after we read them, we'll pick one.
Okay.
So the 10th anniversary, this is from Gail Paul 00. I think I know who that person is. 10th anniversary trip staying on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California, biking on Catalina Island, Oktoberfest and Big Bear. Those Long
That
Beach, I don't
sounds
know if that's
lovely.
romantic, but Catalina and Big Bear definitely are.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. So Olga Zilberberg. My husband and I went to Liverpool for our honeymoon because of our shared love for the Beatles. And this summer, over 20 years later, we returned to Liverpool with our kids. That's
nice.
wonderful.
Wow.
Who are also Beatles fans.
Little Beatle fans.
Great.
All you need is love, right?
Oh, that's good segue there, Tonya.
Lovely. Entry 3, Wayne, our friend Wayne. My favorite vacation with Rick was our 2016 3,000 km road trip from Brisbane to Melbourne, Australia. Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, except for the farm stay with a butcher. But
There's a story there.
Connie, can you read this one for us?
Sure, Elizabeth Saltz, and she's my friend.
Oh.
My most romantic vacation was our 35th wedding anniversary trip. We spent 2 weeks in London and then a 2-week Mediterranean cruise, just the hubby and I.
ooh, that is definitely romantic.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pick that one actually because
Hey, how Hadley jumped
I don't want to
right
pick
in
my
there.
friend, so you pick that one.
Mediterranean food in that very first one.
I'm going to pick Olga because she's my friend.
All right. That leaves, I'll let Connie choose her next one. And that.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through them again. I think I'm going to pick this one, the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. That sounds great to me.
Well, then it looks like cookies are going to Rick's house.
Thank you, Wayne.
He was sitting there on the edge of his seat waiting to see if that was coming his way.
That's funny. I get the cookies after all.
So funny.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to us and for sharing your stories with us. We'd love to hear your stories. And
yeah, smash those like and subscribe buttons so that you can know when we are coming out with the next episode, so that we know what you're enjoying and we can just all celebrate love together next month again.
Yes, and in September, we will be back again celebrating love, our time with love. We're here on Sunday, September 14th, same time, same bat channel. Our guest author is going to be Christopher Hamilton. He's the author of Faith's Shelter, A Tale of Lust, Grace, and Redemption. I'm excited about that one, as I was. Connie, thank you for joining us this time around. And
we had such a good time with you, Connie. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
So I guess that's it, folks.
Yes, thanks everyone for joining us.